good to see all you guys. I think we're all familiar. I think we're all familiar with one another, so I don't have to make a long speech, but I'm so glad that you're all here and looking forward to a wonderful service with Anne Marie. And thank you for coming. And those of that you are that are in the sanctuary, thanks for coming out on this hot morning. I'm glad it's cool in there. Okay, I guess, oh, if anybody wants to stay afterwards and chat, you're all welcome. Thank you. Okay, Julaine, I guess you're next, huh?
And our opening words, as Becky likes to tell us, look to this day, for it is life, the very light of life. In its brief course lie all the realities and verities of existence, the bliss of growth, the splendor of action, the glory of power. For yesterday is but a dream, and tomorrow is only a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. That's a Sanskrit proverb.
This was 4 years ago. Our opening song is "And When I Rise." It's a song from Plum Village, which was Thich Nhat Hanh's one of his retreat centers. So we'll all sing this together. If you're in the sanctuary, make sure you keep your mask on and just hum along. Those of you who are at home, the words will be up, and please sing.
And when I fall, let me
and Julaine will share our affirmation on the screen. Please say it with me. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve the needs of all beings, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other and with the source of our being. Thank you for sharing that with me. And
Thank you,
now
Sharon.
Anne Marie has a story for all ages.
Thank you, Sharon. So it's my honor today to bring you a story that I wrote. So I hope you enjoy it. The name of the story is Quite Small, and there is a little play on words here today for that. When Annie was quite small, her family moved to New York City. She had 2 older brothers, and they went off to school all day. When they came home, they had books for reading and books for writing and books for coloring and exercises where they wrote numbers and letters. Best of all, they came home with stories and new games. Their favorite subject was recess. They talked over each other in their excitement to share about Red Rover, Come Over, and basketball hoops and Foursquare. School sure sounded fun. Annie couldn't wait to go. That September, she packed her backpack, her lunch, and wore her brand new shoes and her brand new hairband. It was a little scary to be left with strangers for the first time. Annie listened and watched everything and everyone. When recess came, she joined the playground with great enthusiasm. Recess was not wonderful for Annie. The older kids seemed to own the playground, and they chased the little kids and Annie off the swings and away from the games. They called, "Annie, Fanny, garbage canny, you can't have no friends." Annie was sad, and she believed them. The next recess, she sat alone under a tree, trying not to be noticed. This went on for some time, Annie believing she wasn't going to have friends and join the games. One day, a special teacher found her hiding spot. She sat down on the crunchy leaves with Annie and asked her, "Why aren't you playing with the other kids?" Annie said she was scared, and she explained that they had told her that she could have no friends. "Well, that's just silly," the teacher said. "No one tells you who you are. You decide who you are. Do you want friends?" "Well, yes," Annie said. "Then let's go figure out how you can make some." She told Annie to look for someone a little bit like herself, someone who might also be looking for a friend. It happened quickly. Annie found her very best school friend ever. And they read books and they wrote stories and they played all the games they could imagine for many, many school years ever after. The end, or the beginning, as you wish. Let me see, a little music from Julaine.
Once again, please sing along with the choirs. Chant if you're at home. If you're in the sanctuary, please keep your mask on and hum.
All shall be well, and all shall be all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well. All shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well.
Thank you, Julaine. That was beautiful. Thank you, choir. Thank you, Julaine. Oh, thank you. So today's service is called Letting Go, a practice for inner peace and spiritual growth. As long as habit and routine dictate the pattern of our living, new dimensions of soul will not emerge. This from Henry Van Dyke over 150 years ago. We are all creatures of habit, not just in our behaviors, but in our thoughts, perhaps especially in our thoughts. Some of our thoughts and our beliefs are hardwired, and we've been practicing and repeating them to ourselves for our whole lives. Our mind wants to stay with what's familiar. It's hard work to change our mind. There isn't a switch, and it usually takes practice, lots of practice. So what am I talking about here? Let's revisit little Annie. She thought recess would be an amazing experience. And as long as she thought that, it was true for her. After being teased by some older kids, she thought she could have no friends. And as long as she thought that, it was true for her. Michael A. Singer reminds us in The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself, there's nothing more important to the growth, to true growth, than realizing that you are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. You are not the voice of the mind. You are the one who hears it. Today's service is about letting go. And I'm suggesting 3 important areas for your consideration. The first of these is our mindset, our beliefs, the stories we tell ourselves. We talk to ourselves all the time, and it matters what we say. Some of the stories we tell ourselves might not be serving us. Fortunately, Annie learned to let go of the story that she could have no friends. Her life was richer for it. Perhaps many lives were richer for it. I've had people share many examples of letting go over the years. Someone may have told them that they were no good at something, no good at sports or math or art or friendship. Maybe someone told them what they were, even clumsy, shy, bossy. If we take that in, we may believe it. and we may repeat it to ourselves. It may become what we live. Thoughts are powerful, and beliefs can disempower us, and they can also empower us. It's good to keep that in mind. When I was a little girl, I was, I was curious. I was very curious. One day, I was at the home of one of my mother's friends. She was we were often there. And I got curious, and my mother's friend caught me opening the drawer in the desk that was her daughter's. Her daughter was a little older than me, and sometimes little girls are very curious about older girls. Anyway, she called me a nosy Parker. Nosy Parker. Every time she saw me, she called me a nosy Parker for years. And for a great long time, I thought I was a nosy Parker. And that was not a good thing to be. And it kind of keeps you small when you believe what someone calls you. But I let go of that story when I walked into my first university library at 17. And I thought to myself, I have found a place where curiosity can be answered. That's when I let go of that story. I changed Nosy Parker to curiosity, and I'm happy I have it still. So today, I encourage you to think about what story you would like to let go of. It'll take practice, and it will take determination, and it will certainly take intention, but it can be done, and it can be life-changing, which might be a bit scary. Life-changing, you know? So I find the Serenity Prayer helpful when things feel too big. You remember the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So there's a lot packed in that prayer. Serenity, may you find some daily. Courage, you got to gather that. You got to remember when you had it for yourself. You got to remember when you had it for someone else. You've got to remember when you've had it for what you believe. And you've got to gather it. Maybe you got to gather it lots of times over the course of your life. Oh, and be on the lookout for wisdom. It's there. It's inside of you. It's inside trusted others. It's coming at you from the ancestors, and you'll know it when it visits. Be on the lookout for wisdom. It's there. And for inspiration, I might turn to the singer and poet Jewel. She writes, her song is A Life Uncommon. And in that song, she says, lend your voices only to sounds of freedom. No longer lend your strength to that which you wish to be free from. Live your lives with love and bravery, and you shall live a life uncommon. We'll be playing this song for you at intermission before our coffee time. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. And so another one of these three areas I promised to talk about is letting go of stuff. I'm kind of an expert at gathering stuff, but many of us have too much stuff that we don't use, stuff that we don't know that we have, stuff that gets in the way of finding the thing that we need or using the space that we have. And this can be a heavy carry, and it can interrupt our flow. It can be downright depressing. So there's a special kind of joy in letting stuff go. For the longest time, I thought that I had to be the steward of my family's stuff. As people passed on, they thought, Well, let's leave it to Anne Marie. She takes good care of things, another story. So somehow by holding on to their things, safeguarding was what was dear to them, I thought that I was honoring them. Now, don't get me wrong. I've kept a few precious things from each of my loved ones. And I'm still weeding. Yes, I'm probably going to be doing that for the rest of my life, and that's okay. Weeding is a seasonal thing for me. So I recently let go of some of my mother's furniture, and it was a win-win because I was able to give it to someone who needed it, and I had the joy of releasing it and making space. So all around, good practice. And one of the last areas for our letting go consideration is busyness. Can you simplify your life? Can you simplify your days? Can you have more time for what really matters for you now? When I was in my 20s, I thought a clean, well-ordered house was an absolute priority. I was in competition with my sisters-in-law. I think I drank the Kool-Aid. But my children helped me to let go of that story. Thank you very much, kiddos. So please take time out to breathe and bask and contemplate and walk and do yoga stretches and enjoy art or whatever else your heart may fancy. Take time out, because time is the most precious thing that anyone can spend. So what is one thing that you could let go of today? I'm going to ask you to join me in a few deep breaths, and we'll have a small meditation, and then we'll have a ceremony. So if you just kind of get comfortable, place your feet on the ground if you can, and close your eyes if it feels comfortable to do that, or just let them, as they say, go soft. This is a letting go meditation. Start by setting an intention. Allow yourself to be open to the process. Do not need to force anything. Take a few nice deep breaths. Notice how your chest rises and falls. Shake out any tension in your neck or your shoulders, your back, your hips, your knees, wiggle your toes, and let yourself sink in. Breathe. Relax. Let go. Recognize any feelings you're feeling. Recognize any thoughts you're thinking. And let them go. And let them go. If it helps to think of your thoughts in a cloud, your feelings in a cloud, and dissipate as you breathe out. And breathe. And relax. And let go. So instead of trying to push too hard Just let it dissipate, disperse. Let go. It's all energy, all energy. Let it flow. With every inhale, you can feel calmer. And with every exhale, you can release. Now you're at rest in your body and your mind, and you're relaxed in your muscles. And enjoy this relief. Breathe, relax, and let go. And when you're ready, come on back to where you're at, into your body, into the Zoom room, into the sanctuary, and look around gently, be where you are. Smile at your friends. Here you are. I hope you're feeling a little better. Maybe we're feeling great to start with, but I'm hoping that you feel pretty good now too. You can do this. You can do this at home. You know, I'm sure many of you do actually. But take the time to do that. Time is precious. Take time to breathe every day, a few times a day even, especially if you're feeling a little tension. It's good for you. It's good for the world. It's good for the universe. It's good for your neighbors. Breathe. Okay, so I think I would invite you now to join us in a letting go ceremony. Sharon has a table up front in the sanctuary, and I hope some of you at home have paper and pencil. And if you like to take a moment to write a word or a phrase on the paper, if you're in the sanctuary, it should be all there on the table. And there's a box, and you can, when you're ready, put it in the box. You can say what it is that you've written or not. You can just silently put it into the box. And here at home, I have a little sage burning bowl that I put things in, but you might have put it somewhere special for now. After the service, all those little slips of paper, all those letting goes are going to be buried by Sharon and perhaps whoever would like to join her by the peace pole, the beautiful peace pole that was part of one of our spring services. And it's been part of the meeting house for a really long time. So we'll bury them in the earth and we will give back to Mother Earth the care of that which no longer serves us individually. Thank you for participating today. And I can't see the sanctuary right now because the only thing I can see on my screen is me. So if you take me off, whatever that is, thank you. I can see you again. I'm going to write my piece. There's your box right there by Sharon. I can't put my piece in your box, so I'll put it in my bowl and I'll bury it myself out here after. Letting go of. So would anyone in Zoom or in the sanctuary like to slip their paper into the box and or say anything?
Can you say that a little louder, Dan?
I'll let go of doing the dishes. They can do themselves.
I have a couple stories that I'm going to now, and sure. And you have to speak up, you couldn't, they can hear you from here, but, why don't you sit it down? So they have ahead of you. I have two stories about letting go recently, and, as some of you may know, here at the opposite end of the spectrum of letting go. I went to Italy, on a trip to Italy recently, and, for the first time in my life, I bought a cell phone. So I could have a way to communicate and take pictures and so on. And, so I'm learning how to use this cell phone and, get on the flight from Boston to Amsterdam, and then from Amsterdam to Florence. And get from the airport in Florence to the railroad station where the group is supposed to meet and get a ride up to the castle on the hill about an hour away. And I'm trying to figure out how to get connected with this cell phone, what do I punch to get internet, and where's the group meeting, you know, I'm looking all around for the group, and one point I go to get my phone out of my pocketbook, and it's not there. My phone, I have no idea how, because I was trying to be extremely careful about watching everything in my possessions, and the only thing I can think of is that I set it down at one point, and that's it. I have no idea. But that was, one of the many lessons of letting go that I had on this trip. And, so that was, okay, that actually was sort of laughable and ironic, given that I had something. Fast forward, I come back home, it was a good trip overall, lots of stories for another time. And a week after I get home, we have made a date to take one of my kitties who has a hyperthyroid condition up to Burlington, Vermont, where she's getting a treatment, a radioactive iodine treatment that should take care of the hyperthyroid condition. But as many kitties, she doesn't like to go 10 minutes. She doesn't like to go and afraid to go anywhere. We gave her a couple of gabapentins and, well, that morning, and that maybe sort of helped, but she was quite awake and wanting to get out of the place on and off all the way up to Burlington, and I tried to, then we get to Burlington after meeting with a couple of doctors and so on, and leave her. And, we get to zoom in, and see her in the kind of great place that she has been placed and watch her. But I have to tell you, has been one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. To leave my city with total strangers going through all this, with totally strange things. She seems to be adjusting slowly, and getting sort of used to being there. And I've had a lot of good support by my sister and different people, reminding me that she's a lucky kitty to be able to have this treatment, which should
give her a lot happier, longer life and me more time with her, etc. But never having kids and never having gone through letting go of some being that you love to go through anything, especially since you can't tell the kitty what the heck is going on. So that's but I'm still trying to let go. That's what thank you.
Thank you, Valley. One of the things on my slip of paper is letting go of old papers from my past. My daughter Christina has been here and is helping me let go. And I can just live more present in this moment. So here's the letting go of old papers that are cluttered.
Thank you.
When I was in the 5th grade, my 5th grade teacher took me aside and told me that she found it very difficult to write to. When I spoke with her, but I thought I was better than anyone else. Studying how the perfect way of relating. This later considered that. And worrying.
I really like the idea. Andrew, thank you.
Could I say something out here in Zoom land? I'm having a hard time hearing. Your voices have been very muffled. I don't know if anybody else is having that problem or not.
I think that's because everyone has masks on. Sorry.
And if we speak up, can you hear us then?
Yes, that's better. And it was people who were both people who were masked and people who were not masked were equally difficult to understand.
You just have to speak up with this mic thing. Yeah.
That is just have to let that go for now.
We have a few comments in the chat box also that we should look at that people are sharing.
Well, we can't see them, so hopefully we can. Can you read them? The print is very small on the screen here.
I can read a few things here. So 4-year-old Ria says that she'd like to get rid of her madness, which means, we believe, this is Mama writing, how quick she is to get mad. So she'd like to get rid of that. And then Rosaline, I believe, is writing, I'd like to get rid of the fear of letting go and the need for control and jealousy, to name a few. That's what she says. Lindsay says the same over, well, I think that was about the auditory. Yes, she was having trouble, difficulty hearing. So that's not the letting go part that's the difficulty hearing part. That's what's in the chat today. I wrote, this is one I've been actually working on since I became aware of it in my 20s. Patience. I would like to let go of impatience. Sometimes the hotter it gets, humidity and so forth, I can be impatient, and that's not nice. So that's me today. Anyone else? Okay. Just in closing then, I like, oh, someone's there, Lindsay. I would like to let go of collecting things. There's a little more to that. Come on. Let go of collecting things as a way of feeling fulfilled. Thank you, Lindsay. Ria also added that she would like to give love. Thank you, Ria. We love your love. Well, very sweet. So just in closing then for our letting go ceremony, I will say this, a friend reminded me years ago that every letting go, even if you want to be letting go of whatever it is, every letting go signifies a change. And therefore, there's a little grief for what is gone. So I want to take a moment to just honor that. Those old habits, those old routines, those old ways of thinking, or the stories, you know, those are all part of who we are and who we were, and memories and so forth. People, our little animal friends. Letting go is hard, and there's a reason for that, and it needs to be honored. And I'm hoping that we can do that today as we go forth, maybe feeling a little release, and maybe feeling a little courage to practice this. And maybe as we bury or burn our little notes to self, welcoming the room for the new experiences in the space that we have now freed up. I want you to just take that moment and honor the letting go. And it is a practice. Thank you for joining me today. And I think we're going to have a lovely piece of music from Julaine.
Here's another piece of music from the choir. It's another chant. It's about meditating and breathing. So I hope that you'll meditate and breathe with us as we sing the song. If you're in the sanctuary, please just hum. If you're at home, I hope you'll sing along.
When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out,
Could we have somebody spotlight this square rectangle? Thank you. And we have closing words from Adele. I choose to live by choice, not by chance. To be motivated, not manipulated. To be useful, not used. To make changes, not excuses. To excel, not compete. I choose to listen to my inner voice, not to the random opinions of others. And the challenge, and then all together. Becky will extinguish the chalice. You have to take that on faith. Those of you in Zoom land. And hold on, I'll move the camera. There we go.